this was supposed to be the first place to go, but
okay.
I was not going to make us suffer. I was not going to prolong treetops. I wanted that done.
Well, now we're here, and let's see what kind of challenges it offers us. Because I do not remember at all.
This is one of their more forgettable levels.
Oh, wait a second. I kind of remember this. This is the more, There were some secrets here that screwed me up for a little while.
Yeah.
That I couldn't quite find.
It's a really cool design because...
Ow.
Because this is just a straight-up village that they invaded. And they have weapons. Like that big guy, that's a laser he's holding.
Huh. Well, good thing I've been torching them before he had a chance to use it.
Mm-hmm. Those guys in the armor, they're wearing power armor with guns.
I wouldn't exactly call it power armor. It's more like he's just wearing a turret.
Yeah. It's like how when you're a kid you think putting a trash can around yourself and cutting out holes
makes you a robot.
Yeah. That's pretty much what they're doing. They're trash can robots.
I mean, to be fair, this trash can has guns, so they're somewhat on the right track.
I do want to strap a couple of M6s to a trash can and wear it like armor. That will be my childhood dream. Like, I'm a robot! You can't stop me!
Erupting, burning finger.
Knowing my luck, I will not wear earplugs or put silencers on the guns. It's going to be loud and obnoxious and just ruin everyone's day.
Damn, G Gundam was a good show.
I know, G Gundam was great.
Believe it or not, one of my favorite episodes was the one where, what's her name? The girlfriend.
Frigga.
What Frigga? That was her name.
Oh, I remember Frigga.
Whatever her name was, the episode where she actually got in the suit, because she it was one of those really satisfying things. Like this was the same era that I was starting to discover shows like Sailor Moon and whatnot. Like really discover my love of female characters. And I was like, huh, she's actually getting a chance to fight people for a little bit.
Exactly. You know, continue. This brings me to something I remember from my youth.
I was like, oh, are they gonna go the full route with this? Like, I understand there's a lore reason she couldn't use the erupting burning finger, but one could hope. Well, you can't blame me for hoping.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Yeah, her hopping into the mech suit. I've always had this mentality. I've always rooted for the underdog. It's the same thing that always pissed me off when I used to watch Power Rangers.
Yep.
It's that only the Red Ranger. The Red Ranger was the only character that ever got the super armor.
Yeah.
Like, no one else got big upgrades. That's actually one of the reasons I really like Power Rangers SPD, because they all went through the same training.
Yeah.
They all got the upgraded suit.
Exactly.
And, ow. Totally didn't see that dude there.
Man, that's gotta hurt.
I equated the shocking with the big guy. It's like, okay, the enemy's dead. Oh. Again, one-track mind. Everything means one thing to me.
That's cool. That's cool.
I love how they set that up, too. It's like, yeah, I bust open the butt. Wait, what?
There's another one?
Excuse you?
What's going on? What's happening?
So we gotta get up there now. Now we have another goal. It's like, you see that, then you realize the key to it is up on this rooftop.
Yeah.
And then you see this one, you're starting to put two and two together, and now you have a long-term goal. But first you gotta get through these guys.
Yeah, these jerks. Man, there's hang time on that.
Yeah.
They let their mistakes sink in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Alright, buddy. You've had enough. I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, that's enough juice for you, pal. Hold on, wait, look at this. Draw me like one of your French dragons. Oh my god.
I mean, it's one of the... It's sort of like a Fallout moment, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
he was just frozen like that. Like, they caught him at an awkward time. It's sort of like when you're playing Fallout and you find those skeletons in a bathtub or something.
Yeah.
Or there's that one guy sitting in the stall of a bathroom in a mini mall or something. It's just like no one like the bombs really were just all right then, sure.
That's
whatever floats your boat, dude. Or doesn't in this case, whatever sinks your dirigible.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well, does it?
Makes you wonder, are we in the swamp or in the trees?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that in terms of perspective. Like, how high up are these people living?
Yeah.
Because Spyro, there's no fall damage in this game.
Yeah, they can...
That's the one thing that always bugged me about bottomless pits in a platformer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it really is bottomless, then yes, of course this poses a problem, but these guys don't suffer fall damage to begin with, so why is this a danger? They're gonna hit ground eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mario's just fine. All he has to do is to perform a ground pound right before he reaches the ground, and he'll be fine.
Exactly.
Of course, only we know that. You can't explain that to the game.
Yeah, it'd be like...
That's essentially us trying to min-max our character. If Mario 64 is D&D, then the ground pound is us trying to min-max the character, and the DM is having none of it.
Yeah. That reminds me. So, we were talking about Summers a while back,
Mm-hmm.
and how it's an awesome class to play. I remember Toon and I kind of thumbing through Heroes Unlimited and finding just nothing we could proxy Summoner with. Which is sad, 'cause
I mean, there's the... What's that class that summons insects?
I think that's a Gestalt class.
Where
Where you're just made of insects or something like that. But yeah, there's no way to make a summoner hero. I mean, technically there's the spellcasters. They have the ability to summon something, but it's not so much the variety I'm looking for.
Got it. That's why... Nope, not gonna spoil it. There are things that have the potential to become things in the future, and I really don't want to talk about them now for the sake of keeping it a surprise.
It's cool. But I'm just thinking, a summoner superhero would be awesome.
It would be, but I kind of understand why they didn't do it, because you're supposed to be the hero.
Yeah.
Like, it feels kind of counterproductive to the hero's title of the book if you're summoning other people to do your job for you. It's sort of like that one episode of All Real Monsters. They're not afraid of you, they're afraid of...
The phobias that you're giving them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Indiana Jones guy where Ickis just pulls out a snake. He's like, snakes! And the Grumble's like, yes, but it wasn't you doing the scare. That makes sense, but how awesome it would be if the Avengers just brought out a freaking just brought out Ifrit to just toast Hydra's ass. That'd be awesome.
Well, I came up with a different way to go about it. My idea for how a summoner would work, if I was ever given the keys to something big like that.
Uh-huh. Oh.
It's how I would do it is essentially I would be like, the character, you are sort of channeling the energy of this spirit, if you will. Like, leveling... That's why when you're a novice summoner, you'd only be able to... You'd sort of turn into, like, a person-sized version of this creature. You could only channel their magic for so long. It's like every round you lose a little bit more MP.
That makes sense.
But as you get better at it, you can either hold that form for longer, or you can summon a bigger form. You won't be able to hold it as long, but it's much more powerful.
So it's, for lack of a better word, it's like when Naruto was learning how to master the Q-Beast power. How whenever he was enraged and invoked the fox's... When he was enraged, he would tap into the fox's chakra, and when he tapped into it enough, it would create this fox-shaped cloak around his body.
Kind of, yes. It's sort of like that kind of thing. In fact, it's exactly that kind of thing. It is exactly that. Like, you've got
Yeah.
this aura of a beast around you.
I
For
love
anyone who's played the game far enough, also think the ending of Psychonauts.
Oh, yes.
Almost.
Hugging the wall is just a great theme in this game.
Well, yeah, because that's also how you catch the thieves, isn't it?
Pretty
You
much.
cut corners better than they do.
Exactly. Yeah. They're thieves, but they have a code. They stay completely on track.
Oh, come on, Spyro.
Now it's coming back.
This isn't Skylanders yet. You're not supposed to be a complete fuck-up yet.
Not yet. Extreme rescue. I can't believe.
You can't stop thinking about it.
I can't believe that that's friggin' Crash Bandicoot.
I showed you that earlier today. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you can't decide whether or not you like it. Like, it makes perfect sense, and yet...
Because on one hand, that's his voice. I can hear that. And especially if you could say that's a more experienced or older Crash. Or just...
The one thing I saw a lot of people complaining about is that he's not a complete idiot in that episode,
Yeah.
which I can kind of see that. That would be consistent with the character.
Yeah, Cash Banuka is kind of a...
It's not the brightest bulb in the box.
because the whole point of his...
He's got a lot of heart, though. Like, he's sort of like Mario in that sense. He's a hero just because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, he's really just saving his friends. He's not really an experienced adventurer. It's pretty much, yeah, now we never have to come here again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much how he is in the Skylanders cartoon. He's been through this. He knows the deal. And so...
I'm a lone wolf. Except that...
Yeah, and he's got a kind of a cocky attitude. I mean, if you've gone through enough what he does, you'd probably develop an attitude. It all kind of makes sense, but it's like I'm expecting a buffoon, a clumsy oaf.
It's really hard to do that kind of thing. Like, you can't... It takes so much time, so much effort, so much looking around and casting. Like, I'm pretty sure that one episode of South Park, the, what was it? I Never Should Have Gone Ziplining?
Yeah.
Just that, a lot of people praise that episode because of the fact that the live action actors they chose, they're not kids, but somehow they represent those characters just perfectly. Like, they look exactly the way you'd expect. They sound exactly the way you expect. It's sort of... It's hard because you're kind of transitioning from one medium to another. It's like, how do we represent this character who never spoke, who never had a single line of dialogue, if you're not counting those just terrible commercials?
Good thing I'm not wearing tight pants, because they would have ripped for sure.
And how do we give him a voice? How do we give him more personality? How do we expand him and still have it make sense? It's a multimedia effort, essentially. The South Park got away with it, I think, because they had enough money to throw at the problem.
Exactly. Exactamundo.
Oh, I see what you're doing now.
Ah. Yeah. I feel like this is, in terms of story, this is where Nasty's just really starting to realize how much more dangerous Spyro is than what he gave him credit for.
Well, I sort of take this as he's now enlisted the locals. This is sort of, it's going back to the whole corruption aspect. We're just going to we're going to take all of these guys and we're going to make them more powerful using the technology we've got.
In fact, remember when we went to the Peacekeepers World High Cliffs, and we had those big ladies with the cooking spoons and those like bandit-looking guys?
Yeah. You think they're just locals that were also sort of conscripted into the army?
Yeah.
I mean, they also drop gems when you beat them.
I think you could infer that that's their payment. Nobody answered their phone. You could infer.
Where'd that guy go?
I think those guys respawn. Either they roll off into oblivion or... That's a pretty nice background.
Mm.
They roll off into oblivion and you just kind of go after them again. Yeah, because the dudes from High Cliffs... They weren't Norks, and they kind of had a different look about them. They were wearing cloaks and hats. It feels like they actually lived there. That these were just people that he conscripted with payments of gems, which makes sense because some enemies. Because it makes sense that some guys are made.
Oh, now we got a 5 gem from somewhere.
I think
that guy, wherever he was, I think he just. Ow.
Damn.
I think he just got stuck on the environment for a while, and then it finally let go of him, or it just despawned him, or something.
Yeah. Because basically, the Norks, we know what a Nork looks like, and we see Norks here, but in High Cliffs, in High Cliffs, we didn't really see Norks so much as these orange people.
Nobody take that the wrong way.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean that derisively. These people.
No, I know you didn't mean it derisively, but someone. Not everybody out there is as
healthy of mind as we are. But these people were literally orange. Almost a peach tinge, if you will. So yeah, these guys I feel actually lived there and are, under normal circumstances, a peaceful race. But once payment came about, since we have enough gems to do so...
You know, when I was a kid, I actually, for a while, I had orange skin. But I did it the right way. Okay, I didn't get a fake tan or anything. What happened was, I was a really big fan of carrots back then.
Oh.
And my mom just kept feeding them to me because it was an easy way to get me... It was a really easy way to get me to make up for a lot of the vitamins that I was missing in my daily life.
Ah.
So, essentially, she fed me so many carrots, and I just kept eating them because they tasted good. I liked them.
Oh, you like carrots?
Yes, actually. And I liked them so much, apparently, that I started turning orange.
Huh.
My doctor pointed it out. It's like, this is a drastic change from the last time I saw Sean. Is everything okay?
The funny part is, I learned about this from an episode of The Magic School Bus. Because the kid Arnold, who's normally, think of him like an adult Chucky from Rugrats.
Yes.
Kind of reluctant, orange hair, glasses, all that.
Oops.
Oh dear. And so there's an episode where he was eating his favorite snack, seaweedies, that under normal circumstances look like goldfish snacks but covered in green seaweed. And that's basically what they were. They were bits... Oh.
Ow.
They were just fish-shaped carrots wrapped in seaweed. So in a way, a very healthy snack. But because Arnold just gorged on these things, it turned him orange, and he didn't know why. And this is the episode, and like in a lot of episodes, the class shrunk themselves and got eaten.
Oh, yeah!
And this is when they learned that Arnold's skin cells pick up a lot of the everything from the carrots. And so they said, it's from the seaweedy snack. He eats so many of them.
Well, I can confirm with you that there is truth to that.
Oh, it's so true. And because of that, and Arnold had to give a big speech at a convention, and he was so nervous because, well, he's orange. Everyone's going to laugh at him. So when he's going on stage,
No, he just needs to promise how he's going to make America great again, and he'll be fine.
Oh my
I put off the joke as long as I could. Like, when we started this conversation about orange people, I could have hopped on it a lot sooner, but I didn't.
Oh my god.
I'm only human. I can only avoid a Trump reference for so long.
He is now the press-usurp.
Like, you throw me a softball, I gotta step up to the plate and freaking swing, man.
He is the press-usurp. So basically, the school bus basically had to fix his skin cells. Basically by having the old layer, just kind of getting rid of the old layer and stimulating the new layer, so that his skin will gradually turn back to its normal color. And in doing so, forgetting the fact that they would essentially just be shedding his old skin, a disturbing image to think about.
He just leaves it behind like a snake.
Pretty much. It's pretty much what they were doing. Basically chipping off the drier layer and allowing a new layer to come out. Oh, there, we need to get up to that waterfall.
Oh. Huh.
And we can get to it, too. Not from here, but from over there.
From over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Oh, because you're so focused on the boss, you don't look for that.
Exactly.
Oh, clever girl.
Clever girl. Speaking of Muldoon, in the books, it's revealed that he and the raptors kind of have a relationship similar to how zookeepers and lions and tigers, and that when the big one pounces him, she's just kind of playing with him, and that he does come back alive.
Interesting.
Interesting note of fact. I remember people learning that that the main raptor in Jurassic Park is called the big one, but they thought, well, she's not really that much bigger. It's because she's the leader. Muldoon calls her the big one because she's the most deadly. She'd be the big catch if he were to shoot her.
Let's see here.
Want to know where the rest of it is?
I have to go back even further, don't I?
Yeah,
It's probably hidden in the first area, isn't it?
pretty much. And it's a strange case of aha, but at the same time, I never would have thought to look over there. Not here either.
Even further back?
Oh, yes.
Well. So, we found something today. Chucky grew up to be Arnold, and then he changed his name again when he became an adult and started calling himself Donald Trump. Is that lore we wanted to find, or?
I think I just had an aneurysm.
Glad to help, buddy.
I am bleeding. Oh.
Yep. Wait. Yep. I think that's bits of brain coming out of my nose right now.
I think I'm dying. So.
I'm starting to lose feeling in my fingers. Yes.
Before we lose all the feeling, turn back a little bit.
Okay.
All right, go
I
forward.
I see where it is. It's just. Oh.
See?
Huh.
See what I mean by it's an aha moment?
Again, looking up, down, around, and everywhere.
Yep. And it's just this whole little area, and complete with a whirlwind to get you back out.
Well then. It's one of those things, like, I've seen this before, so the instant I do it again, I recognize it, and it's like, oh, okay, why didn't I remember that?
Yeah.
Probably because it's been a few years, and I didn't grow up with this game as a kid. So
Trust
please, forgive me.
Like it's like we said before, we're both old hands at this game. But this game is proper credit due. The levels are so big and full of content that you tend to forget certain things. For example, because again, a lot of my remembrance went to dealing with treetops.
Because you played that level so many times.
Because it's such a hellish level.
And this is going to put us on the rooftops, which is where the rest of the gems are.
Yep. I do like that visual of Spyro getting lifted up while the moon lights in the background.
Yeah.
That is just a soothing image.
That's a good one.
And in a way, it kind of makes you feel like you have been on this journey with him for a while now.
Please.
Yeah.
So,
There's just a little more.
24 left.
That waterfall with the chest.
Huh?
In the boss area with the waterfall, we found the chest with the key.
Oh! Oh, okay. Oh, I remember now.
Yeah. Basically, if we had done this level quote-unquote correctly, we would have gotten that key, then gotten that, and then just be on our way out.
I totally forgot about that chest, too.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Because again, this level's so big and properly complex. But at no point
Run as fast as you can, Spyro.
You can't catch me, I'm the Nork man.
I mean, we do have to catch him eventually. That's
Oh.
how you beat the game.
Oh yes, go back actually.
Oh, right. Silly me.
No, you're good. But also, speaking of bosses, the boss we fought here was just a robot.
Yes.
It was just a big robot.
Metalhead.
Yeah. And no
Which,
point-
just saying that word makes me want to play Jack 2 again.
I kind of want to play Brutal Legend, the Jack Black game.
Oh yeah, that too.
I'm surprised no one's talking about that game. That's just a cool game.
That's actually home to one of my favorite lines of dialogue in any video game.
What's that?
What do you do with a bunch of kids that only know how to bang their heads all day?
Yeah.
One tear rolls down his cheek.
I know.
You start a revolution, Lars.
We start a revolution. Oh, my favorite line to that game is decapitation.
And pretty much everything that comes out of Ozzy Osbourne's mouth as well.
It's like, go fucking crazy. I love it. The Lord of the Underworld is straight up Ozzy Osbourne.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's essentially we got to do an LP of that game.
I do have it on PC. And I do have some Steam trading cards I've yet to collect from it, too. For good reason. They aren't worth much. And that's like a, what, 26 gig download? Or something ridiculous like that?
Like, you know, you ever just see a game that you know was just designed for you?
Brutal Legend is that for you?
Yes.
It's kind of an interesting it's a theme I think a lot of gamers, well, I like it anyway. Like, I've noticed there's a big market out there, like guys like Family Jewels, Little V Mills, a ton of metalheads out there in the gaming community.
Mm-hmm. And me, that aesthetic of that game is just me all over. I'll talk more in detail when we play that game.
I don't know if we can play it because of all the copyrighted music is the only problem.
Oh crap, you're right.
Because YouTube's really weird about that kind of thing. And even in something like Guitar Hero, which the whole point is that it's a rhythm game, people were still having problems with their uploaded videos. Oh. I'm not sure if we could actually do that. Was I supposed to multitask in that whole sequence?
No, you're doing it correctly because
I was supposed to get those arches along with the boats?
Yeah, basically Wild Flight lives up to its name with the fact that
you gotta skew yourself and dip and dive and duck all over the place and multitask in everything you're doing.
Exactly. Because, oh boy, everything.
Now we're right back at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, treasure chests. React. Wait a second. This has a lot of the elements of a certain other level that we're gonna be encountering later if we...
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Which... Oh.
Come back here! No!
Back here. No! Yes!
Okay. The other half of them.
There we go.
Gotta do this right.
Yeah.
Gotta do it right.
Gotta do it good.
Gotta do it right.
Gotta do it right.
Gotta do it right!
Yes!
And just crash into the roof above. And the level just ends there. I like how it's programmed to do that. If you encounter any kind of collision, it just stops.
It doesn't just show Spyro fading into the surface.
I want to see what happens if you take that if statement out of the game. Like, he keeps going.
Through the surface infinitely. Like, he just goes off the proper dimension.
Well, that was fairly quick. Do you want to try to beat my record?
No.
Okay.
No. Also, that's probably the most beautiful looking area in the Beastmaker's world.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, again, what this place looked like before Nasty took over.
The world may never know. Unless we find it in, like, a Spyro, like, art book or something.
I would kill for a Spyro art book.
I mean, he's been owned by so many different developers at this point. Do you think something like that would even be legally possible?
I feel like...
It would have to be a fan book is the thing. Like, interviews and different pieces of public art that have been released all over the place. Or you'd have to get permission from the different companies.
Because, oh man, yeah.
A business would never make that. I'm pretty sure we could get a Kickstarter for that kind of thing going.
Yeah.
If you really want it that badly.
Because I would love to know...
We'd have to pull some strings and make some contacts in the industry, but... I barely had a chance to patch that leak.
I thought
what leak?
Wait, what leak?
Excuse you?
Cray.
I'll show you the Dreamweaver's world.
You know, it also comes back to the fact that, well, I also thought he said, I barely had time to take a leak. Yeah, this is another human character that you don't really think much of it, but yeah, the balloonists, they're also humanoid.
A little bit, yeah.